Thank you. I guess you are. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 6:32. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Aaron said that this was supposed to be your turn, Nick. Are you? I wasn't sure it was your turn or my turn.
Oh, hi, Becky.
Becky?
I thought it was my round, but it's up to you.
Go for it.
All right. Yeah. 1 second, and I will definitely be with you. Okay. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Let's start off by reviewing the minutes from the last meeting on July 23rd.
I do believe we're missing a motion. We did vote on the additional local allocation, and I don't see that on the minutes. Did I miss it?
Under cost sharing?
Right, there was no vote. We did take a vote, but that wasn't recorded as having been taken. So it's under 50 business B. I believe it needs to read, motion was made to accept the 50/50. I don't know who made it. I don't know who seconded it.
It's fine. I have it. I'll go back and add it. It's fine.
Okay. If it's someplace else, I just might have.
I don't, honestly, I thought it was on there. I don't remember. I don't see it either, but I could have sworn it's on there, so.
Okay.
So then motion to accept the minutes as amended.
A second?
All in favor? All right, great. So moving on to updates and reports. Do we have an update from the technology subcommittee?
So I did hear back from Brian at RSU 10. He's the IT manager over there. Power School and there's a couple of other categories that deal with Power School is provided by the state. So we do not have to worry about paying for any of that.
That's interesting. Okay. Anything else? Moving on to facilities subcommittee.
Everybody has a little map here. I sent Connie and Kristen the map in an email, and the portable that we're talking about is the one that's circled. If you'll look behind it, you'll see that I did a office setup one-time costs, and then I did recurring costs. Except I forgot, Becky, to put in the stapler, so I did it last. So the stapler is not included in the total, but, you know, I did the stapler at the very end.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
What is the budget that you're coming up with for this?
Well, we were supposedly getting $20,000 to set up, and since the building isn't costing us anything, and the land isn't costing us anything, and they have to put the stairs and the ramp back on that they took off.
Well, we hope.
We hope they do, yes. So as I look through this, I don't think that we will be able to use just one vendor. I think we're going to have to pick and choose because there were things that were cheaper on Amazon, of course, and then there were things that were less expensive at Office Max, but it's hard to beat the Amazon prices, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Home Depot has a whiteboard, 4x3 whiteboard for $70, and on Amazon, it's $73. That's just one example. But anyway, the recurring costs, we're gonna have to figure out if there's a vendor that brings paper and ink or do they have somebody that does, as part of the lease agreement for the copier?
I've heard it's part of the lease agreement.
It's part of the lease
But I
agreement,
can't
okay.
guarantee that. That's something, once the school
Right,
board.
and that's why I put the ink
Yeah.
in as a recurring thing. But if I missed anything big, somebody will have to tell me, because I thought 4 vendors would be plenty.
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
I would say we probably need to leave some money in there in case the sprinkler system.
Right,
fire,
right, and that was the
all
next
of
thing I was
that.
gonna say, is that I have left a message for Sean Essler. He is the state fire marshal. He did not call me back. And the Google says that we have to be sure there's fire extinguishers, exit signage, egress paths, smoke alarms, first aid kit, ergonomic desks, collaboration spaces like a conference table, storage systems, lockable file cabinets, network gear, power strips, cable management, ambient lighting, climate control, and waste management. So I think we've covered all of that. So there we have it.
Well, excellent. Any questions?
Kristen, did you get the email? Okay.
Yes, I did.
Anybody have any questions on that? All right. Moving ahead to media and press communications. Any update?
So everybody's got a copy of this article that Judy alerted me to. That was in the Sun Journal 2 days ago, right, or yesterday, Thursday.
Oh,
I think they come out.
nice. 29th.
Yep. And we've looked a little bit and noticed that there were actually other articles on News Center 6. What else?
Journal.
Yeah.
Main
So,
monitor.
Main monitor.
yeah. So there's been several articles out there. I did call and left a message, and I haven't heard back from them. And I'm not sure what exactly, anything beyond the flyer that we have here that we should be, they're welcome to come to the meetings. We can share that information with them, let them know these are our meeting times. You're welcome to check it out, but I'm not sure if there's anything else directly that I could give them.
For July 1st, there was a Sun Journal, like Crawford Falls Times,
Mhm.
and News Center 6, and Main Monitor. You said that was in just a couple weeks ago, Aaron?
Sun
July.
Journal was in June, and then July was.
Okay. So,
And the main monitor was earlier than that.
okay.
Kristen Collins, I have a question for you. I don't know if you saw this article, but it says in here, this is a forum that we're required to share the withdrawal agreement we have with the 3 towns. There won't be any new information presented at the hearing. So we, or me, some of us, have been under the impression that we have the opportunity to present at this August 18th forum. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, there's no reason why you couldn't present anything you want to present.
Okay. So
I don't,
are you,
I haven't read the article, but is that stated as if it came from the RSU board, or did it?
it came
Something like
from
that?
the superintendent himself. Yeah, there's several quotes in here from Matt Gilbert.
So this was
That's
in
not
regard.
accurate. It's a public hearing, and so the group, being members of the public, gets to present whatever they want to present. And, like you might give 5 minutes per person to public commenters. What you're going to end up doing is consolidating that time into a presentation, of 10, 15 minutes. And I think that's completely fair.
Okay, and are you foreseeing that we need to discuss that with Matt Gilbert or the board chair from RSU 10? Or do we just,
We shouldn't need to, but I would certainly rather not have some sort of disagreement during the meeting if there is some disagreement as to whether this is allowed. So I need to talk to the RSU's attorneys about a couple of things, and so this is something I could add to the list.
That would be great. I just want to make sure that, yeah, there's no surprises because we're
Yeah.
obviously working on that, so.
I mean, my recollection of the last RSU 10 withdrawal was this particular meeting was pretty open, and the withdrawing towns did a presentation
Okay,
without any question.
got it. Thank you for your input there. All right, so anything else communications-wise right now? If not, we are moving on to withdrawal progress update. Step 11 of the 22-step process. Who plans to speak to that?
Just an update.
Oh, it's an update. It's just an update. We are on step 11 of the 22-step process. There you have it, folks. So moving on to old business, and we're looking at the withdrawal agreement conditional approval with contingencies. So that was in my email.
Do we need to go into executive session to discuss the reorganization plan?
Yeah, let's talk about, yeah, let's do that if it's not too awkward of a time. And I don't think we need more than 10 minutes on that.
Okay, I move we go into executive session so that we can consult with our attorney. I don't know the statute numbers, but
I second
Title
that.
1, Section 4056E.
thank you,
Thank you,
Kristen.
Kristen.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Neil, can you hear me? Are we still connected?
All right, we're back at it. So in old business, we were looking at withdrawal agreement, conditional approval with contingencies. So we were asking Kristen for information on that.
So the withdrawal agreements have been approved, for all of the substantive content, everything that we negotiated. And it's a little bit frustrating that DOE didn't just tell us up front the language that it was wanting to see for, the special education portion of the agreement, because we obviously would have put it in there. It's just boilerplate. So I see no reason why we wouldn't just take a vote tonight to authorize me to make the change to the agreement, to authorize the chairs of the individual committees, withdrawal committees, to sign the refreshed withdrawal agreement and to transmit that to the RSU for countersignature. Does anybody know when the next RSU vote or meeting is?
August 10th. And it is August 10th.
So I see no reason why it wouldn't be countersigned or, voted to be approved and countersigned at that meeting. Not a time lag here of any concern, and that would be in place then before the public hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
So did you need a motion from us tonight?
Yep. Yes. You want to hear what I need again?
Yeah.
To authorize council to change the language per DOE's request, for the individual chairs to sign the revised agreements and to transfer those to the RSU board for countersignature. So we'll need a vote of each of the towns on this one. Hopefully you have quorum. I think you do.
Okay,
Yeah, Isaac's on.
Okay.
all right, so I motion to authorize our legal counsel, Kristen Collins, to change the language for the DOE regulation for the DOE requirements for the individual chairs to sign the revised agreements to transfer to RSU board for their signature. Did that capture it, Kristen?
It did. Good job.
A second.
All in favor? Isaac is in. We've got it. Thank you, Isaac. All right. Anything else under that topic, or are we ready to move on?
That there.
Very good. So moving on to facilities, is there anything additional we want to talk about?
Do you want to talk about the elementary school and the septic?
Well, we are in the, let's see, let me think about this. Superintendent Gilbert did receive, he and the CEO of Town of Sumner, Calvin, code enforcement officer, did speak today, and all of the paperwork is going to be signed and in Calvin's inbox for tomorrow. There's some paperwork that needs to be signed in order to get to the next phase of this septic repair at Hartford Sumner Elementary School. The next phase is allowing RSU 10 to put out the bids on this, so it's just in that paperwork place. The hope was to get the septic completed before school started. There is a variance that needs to be received.
That needs to go to the state.
Needs to go to the state. You can probably talk about this more than I can.
I know, because we had another case where they had the variance. It's just $20 fee, but it has to go to the state so they can say yes or no.
So there's some signatures required, some paperwork back and forth required.
Yeah, I think they're asking, instead of 14 feet from something, I can't remember, they want it to only be
from the actual school building itself, they want it to be 7.
Yeah. So they're
That's what
asking
they
for
need.
that as a variance, so I'm pretty sure that has to go to the state
Mm-hmm.
and be sent back to be approved. Usually
guess
they're
it'll
pretty
be-
quick about it.
We'll hope before winter instead of before school starts.
Hmm.
The state's usually pretty good as far as those variances.
I can say that it was said in our board meeting on Monday, worst case scenario, if this cannot be done before school starts, then kids might need to go into remote in order to have the school closed in order to get this work done. So hopefully all the paperwork can take place really quickly and that won't need to happen.
Well, I would say the bidding and the workload would be the hard part, not the paperwork. But
Yeah.
So if there are any interested local contractors who want to bid on a new septic system, be looking for that from RSU 10. Spread the word.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you for that. Moving on to transition budget.
So we met
Tuesday.
Tuesday, myself, Kristen, and Isaac. And talked about the transition budget. I'm going to share, I did send an email to everybody with a link
I
to
did not
look
see
at it,
that.
but I will share it anyway, that way.
Did you see it?
Uh,
I didn't see that email.
Check your spam. That's where it fell into Deb's.
Really?
That was the
Yeah.
spam.
And everything else Neil sent me goes right to my inbox, but this for some reason went to spam.
Well, that's interesting. Maybe
All right.
that's why.
Okay.
So we Aaron sent this out to us as far as a rough idea. You said that you just kind of doubled what Pittsfield did. So if we kind of look at this, we adjusted some of the column names, and we have two other, not column names, row names, and then we have two columns. One is cost max. Obviously, that's just a rough guess of what it could be for the max from our numbers that we could figure out. And then the minimum amount based upon some ideas we had. We can go into detail if we need to, but basically, if we scroll down to the bottom here, as soon as I can get to it. Why is it not wanting me to scroll?
That's the same one. It doesn't look like it, does it?
Yeah, it is.
There
I
we
mean,
go.
I'm familiar with it.
All right, so here at the bottom, we have two totals. One is 367,000 and change, and one is 261,000 and change.
267.
That's basic, no, not the very bottom.
Sorry.
So that is just those numbers added together. Again, we did find out that Power School and each piece of Power School is paid for by the state, so we don't have to worry about that. And then the last column, we figured that if all things go well, we should have $100,000 between the three towns left over from this withdrawal committee. And so that's where I applied the 100,000, assuming that the towns vote to transfer it to, to the transition budget. So in theory, we might get away with only asking for around 161,000, but knowing that it could potentially be up to that 267,000. I personally think we should err on the side of caution because we could always send it back to the actual budget rather than ask again. But that's kind of what we came up with numbers. Chris, did you want to add anything?
Did I want to add anything? I feel like this is not the most conservative transition budget. We were trying to be realistic. And I was taking Kristen's words to heart that this is a draft. We will have more time to hammer some of these things out. In fact, Aaron had sent some information earlier today, I think to Neil and I, about RSU 2 in Richmond, and we were reading a document that talked about the transition budget, and they were handling it a little bit later, and perhaps, and I saw mention of their transition team. So after the vote goes through, if it is approved, then there's like a dedicated group of people who are really diving into that piece of it. And I believe that there definitely needs to be more work on this. We could bring the cost down, but this was three heads getting put together in a matter of an hour and a half time. So there could be salaries, like for instance, the RSU two, they didn't have their transition budget starting until March. So they didn't start it right off in January. So there were 3 or 4 months worth of time. Whereas we were calculating in these columns, some were 6 months, some were 5 months. It really depended on when an employee for these admin positions came on board during our transition time. So there are a lot of variables in there, but I didn't want to just present one number. I wanted to present a range, and then the rest of you to think about, where do you feel about these numbers? Where do you want to settle on?
Can I ask one question? I've been watching it on Zoom and I'm not able to ask questions.
Sure.
I noticed you have something illegal on Zoom. Where did you get money to pay for legal advice?
So that was part of the money that we asked the towns to vote for, that 50,000 that each town put forward.
Last November.
I can't remember seeing 50,000. I can remember seeing all the stuff about RSU 10.
All three towns voted to approve $50,000 on a referendum in November.
Now, once that 150,000 is gone in legal, which will go quickly, what happens then?
We're looking, like we just said, I don't know if you were in the room yet, but Neil's and the subcommittee is expecting that 100,000 of that will still be left.
How long is that going to last before we have to ask for more money?
Well, that's what
How even going to the point of trying to hopefully keep the teachers?
Right, so first of all, the transition budget that we're working on is where we're gonna be coming back to the towns and asking for more money to hire the new superintendent or the transition manager, what you're gonna call them, and a few other roles to kind of get this ball rolling, which would be in the springtime.
So you would not even be technically having a school in the springtime, you would just be hiring
Correct.
superintendents and stuff.
Correct.
We have a staff by fall.
Correct. So the only staff, so basically this November is when the vote's going to go to the people. If all 3 towns vote to pass it, at that point in time, then the townspeople will need to vote for the new school board. And from that point all the way to June 30th, it's still RSU 10. RSU 10 is still going to pay for everything. RSU 10 is still doing everything. Between the time the new school board is voted in and they start doing their work and hiring the admin, central office, admin staff, things like that, up until June 30th, that's where we need the transition budget to get things up and going.
Now, teachers, can you afford to keep the teachers?
Well, as far as,
I guarantee that
yep,
experienced ones will not stay.
yep. So as far as this committee, we do not decide that. That would be the new school board. Now, I will tell you that any teachers that come from RSU 10, which are all the teachers, pretty much that are here, they are contract bound. We can't change that. So whatever they're paying, getting paid is what they're going to get paid in the new school system. That has never changed. That is contractual by unions and everything else.
I guess one of my biggest concerns is I voted against the withdrawal. I continue to go against the withdrawal just for the expense.
Yep.
The overall expense from point A to point Z is going to be expensive.
It is.
And are we going to be any better off in the end? Going through this, just because you might not like RSU 10, I don't like RSU 10. But it doesn't mean financially it's worth. I was all for, I voted against joining them when we beginning, mine was cheaper than one of the buses. But that's what people voted for. How many little expenses are we not looking at moving forward?
I am sure that there are some. We are doing our due diligence, and the role of this committee is not to pass the withdrawal. The role of this committee is to present all the numbers that we've come up with to the 3 towns, and then the 3 towns decide whether they want to pass it or not. We are trying our very best not to do a pass.
I mean, I've seen the little pamphlets, I've seen all that stuff, and it's just your typical what they think people want to read in order to pass it. They're not asking people for questions and giving them answers. They're just got a little pamphlet that says, we have to do this, this, and this. pretty biased on the withdrawal committee on what that pamphlet is. You don't have big enough notices of public meetings to let the entire public, have one here, have one in Hartford, have one in Summer.
So this is actually, we've really actually just gotten to the point where we had true figures and true numbers, and that's part of what we're working on tonight is to actually.
And that's fine if you've got the true ones, but I've seen numerous ones that they've just thrown numbers together.
Are you talking about in other communities, or are you talking about as
No,
part of?
I've seen other pamphlets that were just.
From who?
Yeah.
What were the pamphlets? Did it look like that? Because if it's a
There
pamphlet,
was one I saw in the
Probably this
spring,
one.
up to the high school.
okay, well, that was the ad hoc committee then, I would assume.
No, that would have been some of our information, maybe. what
Well,
we
most
had
likely
out to
that
the
was
schools.
a earlier pamphlet because we at least wanted to let people know what we're working on, where we are at. But right up until this very moment, basically, we have been fighting to get information that's actually worth sharing. And we're just at that phase right now. I would also.
So I guess my most important thing is don't put any information out there unless you have all.
Well, that's not, that works for you, but it doesn't work for everybody because we've been catching heck from people because we're not sharing anything. So to one person's opinion, they don't want to see it until it's accurate. And I gotta be honest with you, that's how we feel. We don't want to put anything out there that's not factual or thorough or complete. But at the same time, we've had people come in here and rip us apart about the fact that, well, you're not doing anything. You're not telling us anything. Okay, well, there's a fine line, which is why we released something back in the spring.
Simple things like, we're still working on this, we're still up a year ago, we're still doing whatever, we're still putting things together.
Mhm.
But don't make the community happy by getting half facts on paper.
But we're
I
not.
don't know what half facts.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, there's
'cause
no
we're
half
not.
facts out there. Unless it's speculation.
And it was a lot of, this is what's going on, blah, 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 I can't remember because I just kind of read it, and we all had questions about it.
So there is a go
But
ahead.
it's just bring, if you can't have all the information, tell the people. Throw it on Facebook.
And
We
we
don't
have.
have anything to tell you yet, we're still in the process of
Yep.
working it out.
We've posted that on our Facebook page. We've mentioned that in these live meetings. I mean, like I said, this is about to go out in the mail as once the committee reviews it, approves it, and does a final proof on it, and it's gonna have the most information yet, to really give people a vision of what this is going to look like.
Is it giving an idea of what the cost is gonna be overall, long-term?
What
Buses,
is
insurances.
the most that it would possibly have at this time to tell people what that number would look like is the difference between what we're paying now versus what we would pay after. We can't give, like you just said, flat out, we can't give
Right, and
projections
they can't
about
flat
stuff.
out give us laws and how it's gonna be.
Right.
But I know Dixfield was huge expense
Mhm.
to withdraw.
Well, just to correct one thing, I mean, everybody sitting on the outside that conveniently doesn't show up to any of these meetings, no matter how hard we push them to, thinks that this committee has an agenda and is biased towards getting out of RSU 10. We are all placed here by the towns because we have to do this, and we are not biased. We're trying to get the
I'm not
facts.
saying you're biased, but I'm just saying, I just know what it costs Dixfield residents to withdraw.
Absolutely.
And it's extremely expensive.
Yes.
Sure.
You're right. And we talked with some people from Dixfield, and we talked with people who were part of their withdrawal process. And they said to us, in hindsight, we would have asked for more money instead of having to go back to the voters. So that's something we have to think about. Do we give everybody okay, we're going to buy the $3.99 stapler instead of the $5.99 stapler? We're not there yet,
Right.
but what we did learn from Dixfield is don't lowball it. Don't tell people you only need $100 when you need $500. That's not what we're doing. We're trying to figure out exactly what we think it's going to cost. There are things we do not know about yet.
Right.
Every spring, February, March, there is a document that comes to us from the Department of Education called an ED 279, where they tell us how much it's going to cost, how much we're going to pay, how much they're going to pay. We don't know that number till February. So we can't say it's going to cost us this much because we don't know.
I mean, we can only go by the numbers in the past. So as far as that ED 279 she's talking about, what the state will pay, we're going by what was given this past spring for the 26-27 year. Now, when we go into effect, if it's all passed, the 27-28 year, we don't know what the state's going to change. On top of that, the state is redoing the entire formula, so we don't even know what that's going to look like. No one really does.
Including them.
Have you figured out what Hopkinton Elementary School is going to cost? Just in repairs up there?
So
That
these,
building is falling apart.
these are all really great questions, and on August 18th, there is going to be the first of 4 public forums. And Nick is in the process of working on a PowerPoint presentation. He showed some of it at our last meeting, and it's still a work in progress. We're trying to cover so many avenues of this to be prepared for all 4 of these public forums. So those are great questions. You should come to that. It's going to be at Buckfield High School at 6 o'clock, August 18th. And that information is going to be included in this mailer that we approved tonight and send out. And, more detailed information about those numbers is going to be shared.
Right, so just nothing to do with this committee. Right, but just so you're aware, and so you can get information out to other taxpayers, there is no new elementary school coming to our community in any foreseeable future, whether we're part of RSU 10 or not. Because we're not, like, as bad as we might think that school, or as bad as it is, it's not that bad compared to the other ones in the state in the ranking.
Right, but I mean, it needs water. Kids need to go to the bathroom.
Right. Right.
My grandson was up there and he had to go out there that one bathroom. You can't.
So there's a new septic in Plain, and we were just talking about that. It has really nothing to do with this committee, but there is a new septic that they're trying to get put in. It just got engineered. They're looking for a variance because it has to be too close to the building by state law, so the state has to give a variance on it. Nothing to do with any of us, but that's just where it's at. And seeing as how August 1st is Saturday, it's probably not going to be done before school starts. But
I mean, I just know all that. I've just seen up there just going through now.
yeah,
My grandson and my house because the school back there.
yep. I have 6 grandchildren in this school district as well, in this school system. And so for me, like, just speaking for me personally, I'm not pushing any agenda. I want the school board reps from our towns to have control over our schools. So I understand the cost aspect of it. I don't need my taxes going up anymore either. But
they are going to go up.
They're going to go up regardless. So it's a matter of,
How much it will go up.
I would say, based on information, because my wife was on the ad hoc committee, that it may go a little bit slower if you stay part of RSU 10, but we literally have no say in how anything goes. So that's the thing that people need to consider, is not just the taxes going up or down or staying good or what have you. It's what's most important to you is your ability to affect change in your school based on your town's elected school board representatives. Do they have the power to change something within the school? Because currently they don't.
Right. And
So
I get that, but then on the other hand, you've got people out in Sumner who claim that's too many voters, and they can override.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
No, they won't.
No, they won't.
I mean, it's gonna be a majority, if
No.
Buckfield takes majority, then
They won't. They won't
It
take
won't
majority.
happen that
It's a
way.
weighted vote.
if there are more people in Buckfield that vote yes,
No.
than there are in Hartford and Sumner. Hartford and Sumner,
She's talking about as a taxpayer at the referendum vote or
right, as a taxpayer.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the school board members.
As a taxpayer, there are people in Hartford and Sumner that are concerned that people in Buckfield are just gonna vote yes for everything, regardless of what it's gonna cost. Hartford and Sumner residents are gonna vote against it, but they don't have as many votes as just the town of Buckfield has. So they're gonna kind of be, at that point, and some that might want it, but if 10 extra people in Buckfield do, I'm sorry, but
It does,
they don't see a chance.
if Buckfield votes to withdraw and Hartford votes not to, or if Sumner votes not to and Hartford and Buckfield vote yes, we're not doing it.
No, I think she's talking about just things in the future. If
right.
she's talking like a budget in the future,
Oh.
that the votes, I mean, ultimately there's,
Gonna be that no matter
it's
what.
gonna be that no matter what. So there's no, unless,
But then it comes down to the fairness of what would work for now with our issue.
right, but it's gonna, to a point, yeah. But I mean, at this point, you're trying to convince seven towns to vote the way you want to versus 3. And there's clearly a different community on this side of the mountain range than there is on that side.
And it's kind of like the 3 towns voting on the withdrawal committee funding. But you're gonna need more legal money, you're gonna need more money coming down the road at some point.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Okay, but anyway, if something comes up and Buckfield overrides the other 2 towns, or the other 2 towns override Buckfield, we're still in the same position. You do not have 3 communities agreeing on how our future's gonna go.
I think the biggest difference though from that scenario to what it is currently is our school board reps have no say in anything at the school board level. That's
We're
the-
outvoted.
Yes, that's the
If
biggest
all
difference.
4 of us vote together
We still are
for the
outvoted.
betterment of our schools and the Mountain Valley region is in unison against that vote, it does not feel like representation is there. So I know that our committee here has been working diligently to have a unified front, to put together a good, responsible budget. And there's one item on here that, which I think we need to get back to.
Yeah,
the
we do
agenda,
need
because
to
we
get back
have
to the
local
agenda.
representation.
Kind of answered my question.
But
August 18th.
August 18th is the first of 4, so bring your first questions on August 18th. And again, RSU 10 is leading that meeting, the board chair will be leading that meeting, so you can address more of your issues with RSU 10 there, whereas we're not really the appropriate entity to hear those things
Now
here.
that public hearing is gonna be for all 3 towns.
It's
Yes.
for all 7, actually. It's all 7 towns are getting the notice that this is going to be happening. So they're
And
going to
where's it
be
gonna be?
at Buckfield at 6 o'clock on August 18th.
And then after that, each individual town will have a public hearing in their respective towns to do same thing, Q&A,
Closer to the vote.
closer to the vote, probably September, October. We don't have defined dates, but that's what the
Then
next
on
one.
November, there'll be something else on the ballot about the withdrawal committee.
It'll be, do you want to move forward with this or not? That will be I don't know how it will exactly be worded, I'm not the lawyer, but
2 to 3 articles will be about this.
Yeah,
on
right.
that. But again, we've got to get to that point.
Yes.
So we're working there. We're working there.
So the one August 18th, all 3 communities can get together and ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Yes.
seven
All
communities.
7.
Yeah.
So when you spoke to Dixfield, and they were talking about the first few years being tough, but they said after that, it was better, and
Much better.
they're able to take care of their buildings and
Yes.
do the repairs that need to be done.
Then the elementary school really.
I know, and we can't get RSU to do anything. Yeah.
But I mean, the thing about the water with the elementary school is that's always been a problem since we've been with RSU 10.
I'm just talking about them running out of water.
Oh, no, they were running
I
out.
mean, the drinking water is drinking water, you can't fix that.
Right.
I mean, that's a given. But they've been running out of water.
Right, but the point is that RSU 10 has had the ball to fix it, and they haven't
And they
fixed it
haven't
yet
done
either.
anything. That's the issue.
So, I mean,
or at least if this were to pass in the future, there is a potential that we would actually have the authority or the ability as taxpayers to do what we wanted to do at our
Address it
schools.
and prioritize
And
it.
there's mold in there.
Bonds and grants.
There's mold throughout that building. There's a lot going on with that building.
Yep.
I'm sure the roofs are leaking, the carpet, some of the rooms.
All right, we do need to get back on track with the agenda.
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice seeing you.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so
We're on transition.
Transition budget. Does anybody have any questions about what we came up with?
We were trying to find a comfortable range.
Right.
I would need to look at it at some point, and,
I mean, don't we have to vote on this
We
tonight?
have to do it
Because
tonight.
we've got to make.
And again, the other thing too is it can change. This ain't set in
Right.
stone. This is just,
but it has to be accompanying our reorganization plan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so
sorry.
What was the range? 267 to 367?
Can you just come in the middle of that?
yeah, so basically 261 to 367. Obviously, that does not take into account the 100,000 that we're thinking we might get back.
Right.
See.
So yeah, I mean,
Middle range of those two numbers.
about 300,000.
or 325
Yeah.
to play
We
a
have the
little
assurance
conservatively.
from Kristen and Connie that we can adjust this after we submit it for the reorganization plan.
Yes and no.
That's it.
Yes, no.
What's the no part of that?
Well, yes, legally, the budget, I think, can and should adjust based on real-time needs. The no is just the political consideration of if you find that actually there's another legal thing that I'll get into, but politically, obviously, if you find the need to raise the transition budget significantly, and it was written in black and white in the reorganization plan, and that's what people voted on, obviously there's a concern there. Legally speaking, again, the only other issue is the money actually there and available and appropriated. So I guess the question is just when are you trying to change the budget, and is it past the date that we've already voted on any additional money that needs to be raised and appropriated for, or just appropriated for this purpose? If it's after the vote's taken to appropriate additional funds, then it's going to be pretty hard to do so again.
So you're saying we shoot a little bit on the higher side and don't worry about the lower number there, given that we need to not go back and ask for more?
I would think.
To you and your risk profile, to put too high of a number on it obviously might make people vote against it. To put too low of a number on it means you may be at risk of having to go back, and maybe you're going back to voters in January or something.
I mean, I would think that if we go for the higher number or close to it, and then we can caveat that with the fact that we're going to have some money left over. So it'll end up coming down anyway.
I don't know about each other town, but I will speak on behalf of Hartford. We have a legal fund in our town, and when we found out that we weren't going to come anywhere near 50,000, we decided we were going to use some of our town money from our legal fund to cover this. So we didn't appropriate it in June, and an additional amount of money. So
you're thinking that come the spring, if everything passes, Hartford's not going to have the money to put into this coffer.
Well, we would have to raise the money just like we would have had to anyways. So
Right.
We figured we would just wait until November to see if it passed. So
Gotcha.
But I mean, that's pretty relevant. We just need to look at the main number, I think, right?
Questions, comments?
I mean, since you guys made it a couple days ago, it's kind of hard to rip through it without having much time, since we have to have it tonight, right?
So Neil, can this is the first time I've seen this. Would you mind
Yeah.
sending me a copy of it? And my feedback will be, if your administrative assistant is full-time, I don't see that person's benefits accounted for anywhere.
That was the question we
Yeah.
were going to ask. So RSU 56, in their transition budget, there weren't benefits that were in there. This was like same thing for the superintendent. This is just a flat rate, per diem maybe is the actual term for it, but we need to have that conversation with you.
So a second piece of feedback, if I remember from reading the support staff, tech staff contract, the administrative assistant position is, for the superintendent, is covered in that agreement.
Okay,
So that's something you want to take a look at.
so we need to add those benefits in, Neil.
Whatever, yeah, whatever that person's, whatever that position, not necessarily that person's, benefits and the other costs that, like retirement cost, social security cost, that would need to go into that line.
But that, I'm assuming that that person who's in that role is going to remain at RSU 10. So we are hiring a new person into that role.
That's correct. And if I remember what Kristen said a little bit ago, and when I remember from putting together the budget, the responsibilities for that position also include special education responsibilities for clerical support.
It's a new job description.
So I didn't hear you. Did you say it's in the job description, or we're writing a job description?
This is a new job description that we would have to write for that position. So it's not in the existing contract yet.
So administrative assistant to the superintendent is a named position in the current contract.
But she
if
does
it's-
not do the role that we're asking ours to do, though. Because that administrative assistant is doing special ed parts of that. There's components in this job description that would not be the same as the one that is within the RSU 10 contract.
Well, I just be really careful how I titled it then, because it's perilously close to the superintendent's administrative assistant.
Okay.
I mean, the last
Yeah, agree. And we have to look at the job description specifically and probably write a new one, even though we're not ready to hire that person yet, just to be clear that it's non-union.
Right, that's usually that position is considered a confidential employee. I was stunned to see it in that collective bargaining agreement. I've never, ever seen the superintendent's assistant in a CBA because, again, they're a confidential employee.
Were there any other suggestions that you had while I'm looking for this?
So I'm sorry, I can just barely see this. So you have the superintendent's position, the interim getting hired, what appears to be February for 5 months of salary. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Does she know that you emailed that to her?
I did share a link with you.
Okay.
I didn't get that email. It's not even in my spam, so maybe others didn't get it either.
And so the second question I have is for the business manager, and it's the same benefits question. I don't see, are benefits in there?
No, we didn't calculate the benefits because that was the other question too that we were talking about is what if we only hire, what if it was a per diem person just during the transition period before it went to a full-time employee? Kind of like how we're doing the superintendent position, IT position, things like that.
Maybe. I don't know if you can get somebody to do that for a per diem position, but maybe.
Okay. It was just thoughts that we were thinking.
So we were modeling off of RSU 56, and they just had per diem positions. They didn't have all the benefits, so, which is why their transition budget was so much less. And Erin, did you have time to look at RSU 2 and how they structured their transition budget at all?
Nope, I could not find it yet.
Connie, I'm looking at the bargaining agreement for school secretaries. I'm not seeing the administrative assistant to the superintendent in there. Was it in
No,
a different?
Yeah, hang on, I'll tell you where it is. It's in the, hold on, it's in the,
Is it district-wide, maybe?
in the technology and district-wide staff.
That's right. That didn't make any sense. I remember we talked about that.
Connie, do you have a couple seconds there to figure out what to add to those full-time positions for the benefits so we can just up those numbers?
Yeah, so if you're doing, it looks like, let's say rounding up to a 6-month number, you're probably looking at 7,000 for a single. And
Are we talking about for the administrative position?
no, I'm talking about the, well, yes, for the business manager and for the administrative assistant. Those are the two positions I think are most likely to have benefits associated with them. I think you will get a part-time interim superintendent who probably is not going to need benefits. But in order to put yourselves in an attractive position, I mean, some of these people I think are going to expect to continue. I would want them to continue.
So I just added some numbers.
Which just
Yeah, wow, 7 and 7, so it'll be 14,000 more.
And what's the Neil, what's the payroll services position? Are you thinking you'll hire a payroll service to do this, or you're not, and not hire a payroll person?
Well, I think we were thinking about having the business manager do it all. And then they hire out to the payroll services for fees and other things with that. Now, again, we don't know a whole lot about that. That's why once we hire the business manager, they'll be able to tell us more. But we wanted to kind of have a spot there for it.
Okay, who's doing your AP and AR work? Accounts payable and accounts receivable.
Shouldn't that be the business manager?
Remember how you had coached us through the structure for the central office? So the employee that you had designated in that position.
So let's see. I have to go back to that memo. I thought there was a person in the business office that was more full-time. However, if you have the business manager doing AP, AR, and payroll, it may work.
What did you have in mind when you were advising us?
I was just finding that memo that I wrote with the people. So I think the superintendent number is pretty good. And when I recommended the staffing levels, let's see, I recommended the full-time business manager with a salary at 103, and you've got it in at, what is that, 53?
63.
Well, yeah, but that also includes the benefits.
Okay, so that one's okay. I recommended a payroll accounts AP position full-time, and that was separate from the administrative assistant position. So it looks to me like you are missing one business office position.
So, payroll, HR kind of person?
Yeah, exactly. Payroll, AR, AP, AR, payroll, and HR. Now, some of the HR responsibilities might be shifted to the administrative assistant to the superintendent.
So what should we put in there for a budget then?
This is for half a year, so it'd be 30 plus benefits, so 37.
Oh, he sent me, I don't have anything.
So Connie, I found on page 2 of that bargaining agreement for technology and district-wide staff, and the superintendent's administrative assistant is not listed there. We have the special education administrative assistant.
Hold on, let me look. So, where did I see that? I'm looking for recognition. Hold on. It's accounts payable, nutrition. Well, maybe it's not there. I thought I saw it in the recognition clause, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Transportation, administrative assistant, special ed, HR, accounts payable. Let me continue to look. So I want to make sure that I spoke incorrectly when I saw that position in that agreement. Okay, I don't see it. I stand corrected.
Then we're back to the question of, do we do this per diem just for the transition budget? And when I look at other transition budget amounts in other RSUs that have gone through withdrawal, we seem to have the higher budgets, the higher budget here. So we're just trying to get things up and running. Like I said, RSU2 didn't have any employees on, any central office staff really until March. They didn't even have their board hired for a couple of months. So they didn't do that right off the bat. So I guess I'm just feeling like we are doing work that really the newly elected board should be sitting down to do. I think we can help facilitate that, but I believe they're going to be in a better position, especially if a superintendent gets hired right off the bat, to help inform us of perhaps a better plan than what we have come up with here.
But we are required to have it in
We
the,
have to have a dollar figure.
Right? Like we do, but
Right, but they could assume ship
make
roles and
changes.
stuff at
Right.
that
but
time.
what this number is what's going to be immediately following, right? It's going to be, do you wish to withdraw, and do you wish to
Appropriate this amount of money
Yeah.
to.
Right.
And approve the reorganization plan. So there's 3 things.
Right.
Yes.
So I guess how do we stumble upon a number that we feel
Right.
good about moving forward with?
Well, isn't it better for us to be able to say after the withdrawal and the transition, we didn't spend it all. We're rolling it over into the new school year budget. Rather than, oops, we made a huge mistake, we need another $100,000.
Right.
Right, but 418 looks like a lot too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it does.
A lot.
So I think I can help. I would not add in the special ed director at this point. I think you could take that out.
Okay.
I think that's probably a position the new super and the new board could start July 1st. So that one I think you can remove.
Even though students need to be having services July 1st, not end of August.
I think that the transition planning for most special ed kids will take place before then. And I think a new person who has some experience can easily pick up the ball. And if they know what they're doing, they can have those things in place by the beginning of the year. So I think that one can go.
Well, is there a way, just out of curiosity, is there a way that you can carry a line item because we want to start paying them May 15th or something to that effect rather than like just to cover ourselves a little bit, or how does this work?
It's not ours until July 1, if the voters approve in November.
Understood, but we want to have money prepared for the
Right.
transition team to,
Correct.
and if you're trying to make sure they have funds available to hire that person, so they're, I mean, I wouldn't want to have my start day be the day I was supposed to start running full speed. That's all.
Nice.
Can you do it per diem?
But I mean, I guess at the same time, it's not like you. Sorry, I hate the devil's advocate thing, but as I think about that, it's not like students are there in July; they're coming in September.
No,
Special
kids are there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, all of your IEP planning will be done before the close of the year by RSU 10. So all of the ESY will be in place. So I really think you can take that special ed piece out. And when I look at APAR, I think you can take that out too, after all that big speech, because the business manager, quite honestly, is not going to be paying that many bills. So I don't think you're going to need that. So you can take that out. And then the only 3 people who are getting paid would be the interim soup, the administrative assistant, and the business manager, right? 3 positions.
No, there'll be a fourth one because you're going to have to start incorporating the IT manager and getting things ready and transitioned over at some point. I'm not saying it needs to be January 1st, but at some point, they need to start getting their ducks in a row to get everything switched over.
So why couldn't one of the town's payroll people add 4 more paychecks to pay?
I don't understand.
How would we do
I
that?
don't know what you mean.
So put it onto like Field's payroll, not on the payroll covering it, but their payroll.
Yeah, in other words, so you would hire them, and Kristen, I guess I'd have to defer to you, why these folks couldn't be employees of a town for this interim period. And they would just be paid through the town's payroll system.
Or we contract out to a payroll service?
Yeah. When you do that for, some sort of a conglomerated position that's shared between towns, and there's a fiscal agent that handles the payroll and all of that. It's usually through, pursuant to some sort of interlocal agreement. But we could treat the reorganization plan as something like a interlocal agreement. Will be voted on by the, the 3 towns. So maybe we could put something in there that says one of these towns will be, designated as the fiscal agent, and employees of the transition RSU board will be considered, will be handled for payroll and other purposes through that fiscal agent. How much money are we talking would that save, do you think, Connie? Is it worth it?
Yeah, I think it is worth it. Because if you could take out the, let's see, I'm trying to find the payroll line. Payroll services, you could take that out. You could take out, let's see, so take that out. And then, I would.
But can you honestly have an employee status as a per diem and not pay them benefits?
Yeah, of course. You can negotiate with them not to pay benefits. That's certainly true. And then I guess the last position I'd think hard about would be that administrative assistant. I know when I talked to the transition agent for Richmond, those were the 3 positions that they had, the business manager, the superintendent, and the administrative assistant. But I'm not convinced that you couldn't do without that. If you stagger the schedules between the business manager, who the business manager is full-time, right? So they're there every day.
Right.
So maybe you could start the administrative assistant July 1st. Or you could certainly start it much later than this is, let's see, this is full-time. So instead of 6 months or 5 months of that, maybe you have just 1 month of administrative assistant. And then you don't have to carry any benefits because they haven't earned benefits for that month.
Let me ask you one question about that administrative assistant. RSU 56 hired the administrative assistant as the very first person, meaning the transition committee or reorganization committee made that, somehow they were able to hire, I don't know how, you have to hire the first person, right? But then that person, the administrative assistant, was able to do all the postings for the other jobs that were going to be coming forward. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it's a good question, Kristen, because I'm thinking of vacancies that would get posted, and I'm not sure why. I mean, you're still part of RSU 10 up until June 30. Why wouldn't RSU 10 post for you?
They won't.
They won't.
They won't.
I don't know. I still think you could trim that administrative assistant line.
I was just going to volunteer. Maybe 56 hired that person, but in my Belfast area withdrawal, I'm pretty sure they just had an interim superintendent, and that person handled pretty much everything for the first 3 or 4 months of the transition period. And admin assistant type positions were added maybe in June.
Yeah, I agree with Kristen. I
So
think
for 1 month then?
you could really slim that down.
Right.
It also may not need to be a full-time position, even during the month or two that it's in place.
And then Neil, tell me more about the tech staff. It says 10 hours a week for 6 months, possible. I can't read that. Delayed hiring if.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on, so between the time that the school board is elected to the time that we switch over, not only do all the quotes have to be redone for all the leasing and licensing, but all the login, administration, all that stuff for all the hardware and software have to be switched over. If RSU 10's IT manager is willing to work hand in hand with the new IT manager for this new school, then obviously we could probably cut that down to just 2 months maybe. But we just don't know.
Okay. And what did you, I don't see it, maybe it's somewhere I can't see. What did you include for technology and that kind of stuff in terms of hardware? Computers?
Yeah, so that's further up top. So we have
Okay.
a whole, so the software license and service software, Kristen and Isaac were talking about it, and obviously all that stuff is still current until July 1st. Because that's with RSU 10 minus what we have to have for the new admin office. Because RSU 10 isn't going to provide for that. So obviously, Aaron had put in 50,000 because she doubled Derigo. In the minimum account, we put down 0 because we don't really know if, again, that's licensing and server software and software for like the kids and things like that. So other than just the administration that is new, we really don't have to have anything in there until after July 1st. So
Right.
so once July 1st hits, it's no longer the transition budget. It's the new budget. That's why the next category down for hardware for computers, we have 12,000 in the minimum account, because really we're only looking at getting 4 computers, and we probably wouldn't have to do 4 up front. but one computer for the super, one for the business manager, and, you know, and at the time, we were looking at four people that we'd hire. But if we delay a couple of those people, obviously, you know, we would have to buy them right off. Sooner or later, we would have to buy it. But I figured four computers, even robust computers, and maybe a couple of small printers, you know, just for the admin office for now, isn't a big deal.
Okay, and what is the central office startup? Is that the paper Deb passed out?
So basically, what we figured is to renovate that modular, and we figure it can cost up to $20,000. And we didn't actually calculate that $20,000 into the final numbers because we were anticipating the $20,000 from the withdrawal agreement from RSU 10. So basically, we just put a number in there so that everybody knows that we're thinking about that we have to renovate that modular, but it's not in the numbers at the very end.
Did you get anyone out there to tell you what it needs to be renovated? I know the day you and I were there, it was locked, and so I didn't get to see it.
I think Deb talked to left a message for
Michelle and Becky and I went out and looked. We did not get into the building that we want to use. I'm still waiting to hear back from the fire marshal about what is necessary. I've left a message and I'm waiting for them to call back.
And remember the caveat though, if we need to use one of the other modulars that has been up and running all this time, then we can reconfigure what classes are at Hartford Sumner. And we can open up one of those other modulars to be the central office. So
That's at elementary.
Yeah, so instead of doing whatever it is they intend to do this upcoming year in those two modulars, because it had been sixth grade that was out there and whatever else was happening, we would have to utilize that space and move things around a little bit inside Hartford Sumner.
And Mr. Wilkins.
I bet you can take that line down by $10,000.
He said there were no repairs needed.
Becky knew.
Yeah, it's.
What line was that, Connie?
I said, I think you can take down the central office startup line by 10,000.
Really?
I don't think it's going to, I mean, the most you're going to have to do out there, my hunch is rip out the carpet. But again, I haven't seen it. If it looks,
No carpets.
No.
I mean, there's not a lot of stuff you can do. And then Neil, my next question is tech software budget. That's another big number, 65.
Yeah, so RSU 10 uses Tyler Technologies for all their budgeting, payroll, all that software, and so we just took that from a line item from RSU's 10 budget for that, because obviously we have to buy that to start software.
Yeah.
I still have not heard back from Tyler. I did send him an email 2 or 3 weeks ago about talking about, you know, how they do their billing as far as, is it based by pupil? Is it based just one price, no matter what the school district is? I haven't heard back, so.
Okay, I think it's high, but technology's not my strong suit, so I would defer. So what's our new bottom number, Neil? How'd we do?
316, and then the low number is 220.
And that 220 is without the 100 and whatever you have left on your allocation in the towns?
Yep.
So let's see, 220, I think you're going to be squarely in the $150,000 range. And that, I think, is what I've seen other withdrawal committees use for a transition budget.
We're still way too high.
Now you're like right in the ballpark.
No, I think with the minimum side there, the 220, I think that's kind of where you need to be.
Okay.
Was that removing the 100,000, like, or we?
No, that 220 doesn't calculate in what is left over from the withdrawal committee. That's just the 220 that we'd be asking for, because if for some reason there is no money left from the withdrawal committee, then we have to tell the people that we're still looking at that 220.
We'll see, no, by that now.
Well, hopefully.
So we're at 220 real number.
Real number.
But it could go down
It could,
theoretically to 120.
It could.
But
Whatever we
towns
have
need
left
to
over.
reallocate that back to us?
Yes.
I
or-
would assume.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I'm comfortable with the 220 number.
But what is the other number for that? I don't really understand that.
The higher number, the higher number was mostly, so one of them was the software license and service software, which was $50,000, which, you know, I think that we can push that to July 1st, which would be the new budget. Because again, RSU 10 is currently paying for all that stuff up until June 30th. And then the next line down, the hardware and computers, that number was just something that Aaron had put in. But theoretically looking, we don't really need a whole lot for central office between now or between January 1st and June 30th. So that 12,000 should cover any hardware we'd have to purchase, like laptops or whatever.
Okay.
And so that right there is the biggest difference between those numbers. There's a few other small things, but that's kind of what we're looking at. So do we want to say 220? Do we want to say 225?
I was gonna say, do we round up just to? I feel like that makes sense, but
Round up to what, 221?
220. Well, right now we're at 218, 216. What does that say?
Well, we're at 227.50.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like you round up to 225. At least you covered a little bit of
Right.
gray. That's just a thought. So yeah, I guess so. Though I make a motion that we use the amount of 225,000 as a transition budget.
I'll second that.
All in favor? There we have it.
Okay.
Nice work, everyone. Anything else relating to transition budget before we move on?
I can't think of anything.
Okay, so moving on to estimate of cost savings. Not sure what that's related
I
to.
did that was part of the reorganization plan.
Is that just wording that Kristen needed to come back to us
I think
with
so.
and clarify?
Down. We were gonna put in some sort of statement.
Oh, because it's not gonna be a cost savings.
Right.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Version of the reorganization plan that I sent out yesterday. So that has that language that I read to you from the last meeting. And so the question is going to be just, is there anything in this reorganization plan that needs to be updated, including that language? But we need to talk about some other things.
We want to wait till we get to that point, I guess, in a couple minutes, or do we do it now?
Aaron, did you want to have a conversation about the local allocation formula?
Yeah, I think we really ought to hit that before we do anything else.
Yeah, I sent you guys an email with the map. 50-50 would give Buckfield double the increase. We're all gonna experience an increase to pull out regardless. But Buckfield at 50-50 would be the only town that sees an increase and then an increase on top of that. So I obviously advocating to keep it at that.
Do you have a comparison?
I emailed all of it to you guys.
Okay.
Did you have a student count, like per student how much each?
I did not do the math that far down.
Like, it looked like, I mean, I did it different ways because I couldn't really get the student count. And some ways was, if you do the 75, 25, we pay like 11,000 per student. For Buckfield, we pay 8.
Buckfield has more students, so.
I think all that information was in the handouts from the last meeting right here. So student count for Hartford is 146.5. And if you want to look at this sheet.
Yeah, it has all the math on it and it explains how I got to all the math using the calculation.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very informative handout last time.
Probably too informative. But essentially, to pull out the district, I gave you guys in your email how much it's going to cost each town to pull out at their current 75-25. I also explained if you do it at the 50-50, what it's gonna look like. If you do it at the 25-75, what it's gonna look like. All towns are gonna see an increase to pull out. But when you start changing the weighted votes, it's going to change how that impacts each town. And the only way all towns are, I don't think equal, but the only way that all towns just see an increase and not one town see more than the other is 75.5.
I think it was 25-75, then each town would be paying the exact per student, you know, or within the same $8,000. So we don't have many students, we're paying more per student, is that fair? Our population is older and 16.
I don't think it equates that way. I don't know how you were doing the math.
Can Neil pull up your email?
I'm trying to look for it right now. You sent it to
This
today?
one?
No, I sent it.
Is it this
27.
one, right?
It's from the,
Yeah,
yeah,
I sent it
27.
to
Did you see
you.
this email
27.
from Aaron?
Yeah,
earlier?
that's what I got the numbers from.
So if we stay at 75-25, no one of us is experiencing an additional increase. If we do the other ones, if Buckfield has increases and like Hartford Sumner has decreases. So if we're
Compared to now, though, it's not fair now.
thinking about being unified as we move forward and not having a division between the towns and animosity, I can get behind this, the 75-25 after reviewing these numbers. And so we're all gonna have to say, this is gonna cost more for every single one of our towns. We're all gonna have to say that. Under the 75-25, it's just all three of us are saying this is what it's going to be. But if we do 50-50 or any one of these other formulas, in addition to that, Buckfield's going to have to say, oh yes, and we have to do even additional more. But Hartford and Sumner, we don't. We're going to be actually getting a coupon back, so to speak.
So we have to tell our people that we have to pay 11,000 per student. We're about to pay 8,000.
I can't speak to your math, sorry. I can only speak
Well, you
to
can
mine.
calculate pretty quickly, you know, by the total amount.
I will say 50-50 does put Buckfield mill rate up to an 1840, I believe, whereas 75-25 keeps it right around what it is at now. 1485 at 75-25 would put it at 1585. I don't remember, you have to be.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
And the 75-25 puts Sumner at a 21 mill
What is
rate,
it at now?
1908.
15.6 right now.
15.6,
It's where it was.
21.
Not 10,922 per student for Hartford at 75-25, and Buckfield's 8,375. And then Sumner would be 9,700.
What is it at 50-50?
Buckfield's at 8,731 per student, Hartford's at 10,428, and Sumner's at 9,630. The only one with this 25-75, it would be Buckfield's 9,085 per student, Hartford 9,933 per student, and Sumner 9,536.
That sounds like definitely not bad.
It's what?
Not beneficial. 50-50.
Well, I effectively got lost in all the math, and I thought I understood it from what Diane did for me here. For Sumner, it's negligible any way we look at it. Is that how you understand the Sumner math?
Yeah.
So we could really pick any one of them. Like, is that?
Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean, yeah, we've got it broke down, or Diane broke it down, 50-50, 60-40, 25-75, what it's gonna do to our mill rate, essentially.
Is that?
And it's,
So the thing you just proposed, where each town pays 9,000 plus per student was what, 25-75?
Yeah, 25 valuation.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I was
Is there a
trying.
way to like physically do the math Neil?
Well, I'm trying to figure out.
I know, I was trying to figure it out
Because I
too.
can't follow unless I've done it myself. It's
And I might have the wrong numbers, but Buckfield was 1,938, 987. Is that the amount?
I don't know, it depends on what you're looking at. That's why we all need to be on the same page.
Is this the same document that you're looking at or no?
I took the numbers from that document.
Oh, okay. That's why I was like,
And I divided them by the student count, which at the top on there somewhere would be this, maybe over here.
Your student count is on there too.
let's see the student count.
There we go. I don't see a
So are you taking the number from what each town has to pay for the new budget and dividing it by
Is it
the student count?
1,938,987 Buckfield is the additional local at new RSU.
Where are you?
She's using this number,
This one?
but the two numbers together, this is what you have to raise, and this is what is additional, so you get that total.
Okay.
So I'm taking the additional local.
Yeah.
And dividing it by the student count.
Which I don't know if that's not accounting for what we already have to raise, but yeah, it's accounting for only the additional local.
What's the student population?
146.5.
For each
So you
town?
can share that? No, that's fine. I'll share that.
I forget how to do it.
Summer's 104,
Okay.
and Brookfield 231.5.
And I could have.
Sorry.
What she's looking at, that's the big discrepancy. 50/50.
Becky?
I could.
Because if you look at that, it does look like, they're paying 42% and we're paying 22%.
So this is our total?
So this right here is the total for all three towns, for just the additional.
You know what you
on
ought
top
to do?
of
You
what
ought to
we
send
already
it
have
to Neil,
paid.
so we can pull that up on the big
So,
screen.
so we should be doing the total.
I'm not, that's the thing, if we're using this.
Well, no, but I mean, nobody's gonna attack you for it. I'd rather we see the discrepancy, and you have a spreadsheet built, ready to go, so.
Yeah, okay.
You have something that can be printed out for us all to look at?
Yeah, and I,
She's sending it to Neil too, so he can pull it up on the screen at least.
That would be.
You send it to me, you send it to the BHS email.
Austin Lex at Gmail.
Okay, let me look that up.
This is why we have 12 people,
Yeah,
and it's important to hear everybody and see everything.
My number's wrong, but we hear.
oh, this is the people side, is that what you said?
If you click on here, it's only show at the top.
I think you have to open
No
it.
matter which way you look. Always say bigger portion.
Who pays a bigger portion?
Where at?
Buckfield,
And then up at the top.
no matter which one you look at.
We have to.
Yeah, I think it's because I have to edit it.
Okay, it's up.
All right, we'll let Neil drive.
Yes, and that's the thing, I believe. Oh, boy.
Can you enlarge that at all?
At all or a lot, one of the two.
Those old people can see.
Maybe. Too much?
104.
Somewhere.
Yes, Hartford is 146 students.
0.5.
146.5.
Trying to figure out where they get half a student.
Uh-huh.
It's averaged out, I understand.
And Buckfield's 231.5.
482.
I see what you're
This is
saying.
both schools, I'm assuming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Is there a header on that, Neil?
No, so I'm trying to
Okay.
cross-reference here.
This doesn't help me one bit.
I
But maybe
can
some of you
almost read them.
math smart people.
On your column B, where are those numbers coming from?
You mean the 1938?
No, the 996,340.
That's dividing it by the student count you get per student.
No, but the 996,340, where you getting the 996,340?
99. That's not B, Neil, is it?
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, the top, I can't remember.
Oh,
The top one, I don't remember what the top one was.
oh, 996. I see what you're saying.
I don't have the original.
Sorry, Neil, you were right.
Because I could, yeah. I'm just trying to figure out.
I don't remember what the top, I was just playing with different things. I haven't done it this year.
Well, it's very interesting to look at, though.
This is the second section.
Right.
I will say that I spent about an hour on the phone with the business manager from RSU 10 calculating how much the 7 towns, individual towns, are paying per student. And it was not a simple equation. There were other things that were taken into consideration with it. And it took an hour of her to explain all this. And I thought it was just take the number, divide it by the number of
Hey, Neil.
students, and it
Right
wasn't
there.
that.
Let's just
Wasn't like
give
cut and
you.
dry.
It wasn't cut and dry.
Total local share based on weight allocation.
So you're basing the cost per student just on the additional local, not what's required. We only care about the additional local.
I just don't think that actually equates for how much you pay per student though. I'm on the same wavelength as Kristen. I don't think it's that simple.
Can we do it with the, whatever it is, right number?
I cannot reproduce that because it was an hour conversation with the business manager. But that's how we figured out that Mexico is really under.
Yeah.
And they're counting telephone poles by the utility company instead of going through valuations. And
Yeah,
it really gave reasoning for that. But Sumner was paying through RSU 10 right now at about, I think it was $21,000 per student.
Yes.
And Hanover was like 40 something per student. There were wild discrepancies, but under that,
Roxbury pays nothing.
in all, there were, like, Hartford, Sumner, Buckfield were kind of right in together. Like, one might have been 19,000, the other might have been 22. I don't really, I wish I had it in front of me, but I
But
don't.
I base, our valuation is high, so basing 75% on our valuation would make ours.
You guys are gonna, okay, I don't know, I don't understand all this, but you're going through the reval, and that's gonna then change, like, you're gonna then go through what Buckfield and Sumner went through.
I thought that was a different valuation.
Where is she getting the additional local?
But I thought that's two separate
It
evaluations.
might really be.
These
That
Okay.
valuation
I'm not-
number is based on what the state says your town's worth, it's not what O'Donnell's gonna do for
Okay.
you guys in
All right.
2028. Because I was misunderstood on that, actually.
It just keeps going up.
I mean, it is for all.
Right, but it's two separate valuations.
Right.
Yes, it is.
So the one that's gonna hit you guys in 2028 when your town gets reevaluated, like Buckfield had happen and what Sumner just had happen, that's a completely separate evaluation than what's used on. That's a completely different number. It's whatever the state says your town is worth.
And Nick knows how that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's based on telephone.
Telephone poles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an average that they use. I want to say it's 2 or 3.
So I was confused about the whole evaluation thing. I thought it was based on, what the O'Donnell, your tax all that stuff. It's
No.
not. It's what the
It's
state
already
says your town's worth.
I forget, it's a 2 or 3 year average, but it's.
That's enrollments.
But that's the take of the course, right, the additional over.
All right, so the other question, okay, so your additional local, where you have Buckfield at 1.9, Hartford at 1.6, and Sumner at the 1.0. That's first lower column right here.
Did you find it or no?
Right there. Where are you getting those numbers?
The 1,938,000.
Yep.
That's
Off
from
of this, I think.
Aaron.
She got 'em.
August, in that we had last.
Because I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I didn't see it on there either.
Because your 1938 comes from the total local share that is,
Additional local.
but is that additional local?
So that is what the towns have to come up with additionally on top of what.
No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but when we worked on that,
Yeah.
was that for the additional local, or what was that required?
No, that was additional local.
Because this is,
Yeah.
right, but this is not based off the new district. This is based off the new district. These are the numbers we have to punch in, not
So
those.
she punched, she showed me that, so this is what I was saying. I don't think it's as easy as math as that, 'cause this is what they say we have to pay. This is this number, which you get, this is total with what the state says, plus what our additional needs to be, that's it for each of the towns.
Gotcha. All right, so she got those numbers.
Becky's looking at the 75-25 right here.
To get that number, is where she's.
I just went over.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
I see it.
Oh, yeah.
Non-index column is what? That's 50-50.
25.
25.
Three, two, nine, one, yeah.
114 and 991.
So that's just based upon the pupil count only, not the evaluation count.
It's 75.
It's 25-75.
Right, but what I'm getting at is you're taking the additional local and dividing it by the pupil count.
That's it.
That's it. You're not calculating in anything about evaluation. So you have to calculate in the opposite to get the true number, because your number may go down with a 25, your number may go down with one of those, but if you don't calculate the other side of that to get to equal to 100% with the evaluation, you may find that may shoot that way up higher for you without calculating the evaluation.
Yeah.
And that's the part that's missing.
The part that's missing.
That's why it took me a minute to get my head around this, because I was like trying to figure this out. So,
Because I couldn't put words to it.
so
You'd have to do the math on that other part.
right, but didn't we already do the math when we did that formula?
Yeah, we felt like that's why I just used
So,
what we already have, and then.
Let me see if I can find it to pull it up.
That'd be cool.
Is that this thing?
No.
Okay.
Just bear with me. Let me see if I can.
But that sheet that you have is already accounting for all of the sides. It's just saying if we do 75, 25
it shows
versus
it
50, you're getting this increase this way, or this increase this way, or, you know, it's
Okay.
already calculated there.
So when I'm looking at it, as you guys, I guess I didn't share it yet. Hang on. Come on, Zoom.
Thank you for doing that math and showing us, Becky, because that helps us to know where you were, but then there's that missing piece that we have to be able to explain and calculate.
Come on.
Yeah, it helps us all be on the same page if one person
Right.
feels one way and somebody else.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, I don't know if it's broken down by the student. No, I don't know if we actually did that piece of it, but
Yeah, you see the top to do portion all along here. We go through all of it.
25% there for the students, 75% of your value.
Right, but we didn't take that final number and divide it by the pupil. Because I think one of the things that you're trying to ask for is if someone says, well, how much does it cost per kid for the appropriation? We need to find the total number and then divide it by the 231, not just the and I have to think for a minute on how to figure that one out.
Well, we're doing right here, valuation, student portion, 25%. So we get the numbers there.
And then the total local share.
And then we take that number
Yes.
and divide it by the total pupil.
Yes.
Okay, so let me work on, right? I mean, is that?
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know, my brain is fried.
Yes, yes.
Combined.
So I'm gonna combine it. Let's just see what happens.
Isn't it already combined before divided?
No. You only have the local allocation, you don't have the additional local.
Or just the addition?
She just did the additional local.
Right, but you need the whole number to say this is how much we're paying per student.
I'm just out of tax, right? The other stuff is state.
There's
But there's-
there's how much the state will give you
Yes.
as long as you
All right.
pay this much.
Right.
And
Equals
then there's
sum
this on
of-
top of it.
Oh, get out of here. Stop that.
So state subsidy
Sum of-
plus what
Okay.
state says you have to pay, plus all the extra things you have to pay for. the budget. So
Divided
there's
by
three components to it.
231.5. This.
And you're already way ahead of like every other board member out there. I just want to commend you for that. You should consider running for the board. That's my little pitch. If
What
this
was
passes,
146?
because regular board members have not gone into this amount of budget work.
Sum of
And so you're ahead of the game now.
divided by 104, enter. Okay, and I'll go to the other evaluations too, but for the 75-25, that's what we're looking at. Buckfield will be rough. Now this is just the additional local with this formula. Each student would be 4,400 for Buckfield, Hartford is 6,200, and Sumner is 5,100. Now I'll go to the other percentage form and do the same thing so we can compare the real number.
You added more expenses in, but the amounts are less.
It's just how it works with the numbers. Because, so you have a local share based on weight allocation, additional local. So how did that work? I hear what you're saying. How did that come up to be? What is this number? That's just a number. I'm looking at formulas right now. 73301. Where did we get that? I wish we didn't have to vote on this tonight. Why did that come up to that? That is RSU 10. No, this would be based upon us here. I think it's, what do we raise? Plus additional local. Total local share based on weighted. I think it's that number right there is what we have to go by. Because you went by, no, you're on the new district too. Why are those numbers different? No, I'm actually looking at your 1.9 million for Buffalo. Where did that come from?
Are you talking about the 1938?
The 1938, I'm just wondering why.
75-25 on the
Right.
total local share. You didn't want the 19.
I'm just trying to figure out where the 1938 actually came from on that sheet.
Yeah, it's right here.
Total local share, valuation portion plus student portion.
Right, but where did that number come from?
Oh,
That's what I'm trying to say.
gotcha.
How did we come up with that number? And, because when we went through this other formula,
Aaron, how'd you come up with this number?
Well, isn't it 1392 plus 546? No?
right, but then,
Total local.
what's the 1392 and the 536 based upon?
Valuation portion 75, student portion 25.
That's dividing the 205,
Right?
that's the,
It's checking
Around
out very
75,
quickly.
25
I need
page.
to plug in my computer.
Yep.
Can I bring this
Okay,
over?
that number matches.
Okay, so
That
that
number
is adding
matches.
the amount to be raised 75% of their valuation, and then you add in the 25% of student count to get the 1,938,987.
Right,
So for
so,
Buckfield, you're doing the 1392, 613 plus 546, 374.
which gives you the
Equals-
1.9. Right.
Yes.
But why on the sheet that's on the TV right here, why does it come up as 1030?
I don't have 1030.
I don't see 1030 anyway.
Right, that's why I'm wondering
I don't know
where
where that even comes from.
the 733.58.
Are you on a different tab? No?
Is this the wrong one that we're looking at?
You're on 75,
75,
25.
25.
No, I'm actually talking about the wrong file.
I don't know, it's not what we have.
You know?
Am I on the right one?
Yeah.
Let me
Okay.
see if I can, maybe, let me go back to this here. And I hate that Zoom is doing this. All right, let me minimize.
So Becky, did the town of Hartford, were they able to calculate for mill rate based on it?
What's the question?
Mill rate.
Sumner did the mill rate based on 75-25 or 50-50, so did Buckfield and Hartford have a chance to do that?
No.
so this is like what's on there. Just so we would know what we were looking at for increase from the rate.
Yeah, and to go from 15 to 21 is a lot.
Like 14 to 18.
The increase is 21%, but the estimated mill rate that she has is 19.
They're all,
Oh, 19.
They're all about 19.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
2575 is 18.95,
All right.
but
Yeah, that one still shows the ones that
still not
are.
great,
So it's
but
about,
Still not great, but better than 21.
yes.
I'm still looking.
and Buckfield was
Do
at
you want
about 4
Jeff to
mil.
send it to you? The one that she sent?
What is Buckfield's mill rate right now?
She said
What's
I got it.
14.
Yeah,
I got
it's
it.
there.
I got it.
About,
Yeah,
we're looking at about
Stand
4
by.
mil increase.
Yeah,
stand by.
yeah, they pay about where we are.
We'll share this one. I was looking at the wrong one. Now I'll do the right formula for that, once I get it. There we go, 1938. Now I can apply the formula. Sorry about that. That's why it's so hard, because we've adjusted things so many dang times.
Yes, we have.
Divided by 231.5. There we go. Now we're getting them better. Equals, I'll have to play with that. That divided by 146.5. Have it. Now we're getting the numbers you're talking about. So I think you did have the numbers in there. But let's just do it on this page here, because we are. So that way everybody can see it. Of this number divided by 104. Half. Yep. So on the 75-25, and this is with the full formula, Buckfield's at 8,300 change, Harper's at 10.9, and Sumner's at 9.7. Now I'm going to jump to the other 25-75 and do what you have there.
That's per student, right?
Per student.
So is
just,
that saying that we're gonna see a cost savings going from RSU 10 to our own?
The 2575 is pretty much in line, like the 9,000.
Not doing the whole-
That's the closest.
Yeah, for everyone.
2575 is the closest.
Yeah, and then I'll do this one here.
We went to 9,000, we're still at almost 9,933. It's still a low of 9,000.
And then the other thing too that we have to consider is from year to year, as those numbers change based upon population evaluation,
Right.
the new school, the school board is gonna have to think about it every year,
Something-
just to keep it
something's being
close
set
that way.
too, right? Student count?
What's that?
It's being held for a
It's
little
being held
bit.
for a certain number.
For several
Right,
years.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, our,
Or above or below.
DOE said that they're not changing that no matter what.
Right.
So are you calculating in what that other percent is though, like?
Yeah.
You are? Okay. 'Cause I thought, all right.
Yeah. The reason why I questioned it when she had it on her spreadsheet was, we wasn't sure if it included both sides, but it does, so.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't,
you did a good job.
You
That's
did
some
good.
good math.
It is. And
Well,
then
once
the
I saw it
last
on your
one-
sheet, it made way more sense to me than anything else I've seen, just because I like how you broke it down, that's all.
So this divided by 230, 1.5. Sum of this one.
Good to beat it out though, make sure we're all together.
I think Brad would be excited.
Mhm.
Because I will tell you, but the will not.
All right. All right, so that's all done, so we'll go back to the beginning. So again, like she was saying, the 75-25 would be basically 8,300, 10,9, and 9,700 accordingly. If we go to the 25-75, that seems to be the closest at,
Can you put it on here?
it's right here.
Well, we can't see it.
Us old people.
Can you read it out loud?
Yes,
This
so
is
the-
25, are we 25,
No, that's the
75
last
now?
one.
25-75, Buckfield is $9,085.49.
$9,085.
Hartford is $9,933.82. And Sumner is $9,536.70. And that's a per pupil estimate.
What was Buckfield again? I'm sorry.
$9,085.49.
And where were we for 50/50?
Yeah, 50/50.
Hold on, I gotta turn to my page. Okay.
Buckfield is $8,731.19. Hartford is $10,428.56. And Sumner is $9,630.14. Do you want the 60/40?
Unless somebody else does.
No. So out of the three, 75-25, 25-75, or 50/50, going back to the 25-75, like what Becky had mentioned, that is the closest based upon that per pupil estimate. Now, obviously, I don't know what that's going to do to the mill rates for each town, but if you base it on the pupils that go there using the entire formula. Basically, what that will do, if we look at the new numbers that we come up with a budget based upon the numbers, not mill rate or taxes or anything like that. The 75-25% for Buckfield is at $3,099,000 and change.
Okay, wait, where are you? Oh, you said 75/25.
So if you scroll down to the bottom where it says new district,
Yes.
and it lists the,
3, I got it. Yep.
so that's with a 3099. If you jump
Okay.
to the 2575, Buckfield would increase to 3263.
Yep.
If we go back to 7525, I'm just doing per town. Hartford is at 2.6 million. And then on the 2575, they would drop down to 2.5 million. The Sumner on the 7525 is at 1.6 million. And going to the 2575, it'd be pretty much 1.6 million. So there wouldn't be much change there. As far as the total, you know, ED 279 plus the additional local. So basically, by dropping it to the 2575 that Becky is requesting, so it's more equal for the per pupil figure, Buckfield would end up paying, looks like an extra 200,000. Overall.
Because of the pupils?
To make it look more fair. Now, I don't know if that's more fair or not. I guess it depends on what the perspective would be. But if you look at it just at, you know, how much the 3 towns are paying per kid overall, it seems to be more fair at the 2575. And obviously, if after they unfreeze the pupil count, if Hartford, let's say, had to jump up 30 kids and Buckfield had a less, you know, let's say a drop of 20, that would drastically change those numbers because it's a 75% ratio on the pupil, right? So, you know, at that point in time, the towns would have to ask the school board to change it again if they were so deemed to, if that was a concern.
Right. So in 3 years.
But who knows? In 3 years, Buckfield might have even more students. So, you know, who knows? It just depends on where they're building houses and where they're putting houses in that have children that come in to the school district. Now, the other way that we could look at it too, not saying that we should, but if we were able to get a at best count of total residents per town instead of pupils that go to school, because obviously it's the total residents who actually pay the property taxes, and divide.
In Hartford, it's a lot of, you know, summer homes, so they're full-time residents.
Right, but when I say residents, I'm also talking about, or maybe properties. I guess if we do it by property number, right? And I don't know how we get that number. I don't know if the town would have that number readily available, and then divide that number into these numbers. That's another way to look at it too. So I guess it depends on how you consider what's fair. You know, I think taxpayers would look at it as per property, not per pupil. I mean, these are tough questions. You know.
I don't think Buckfield can go to the 2575. What do the Buckfield people say about that? I mean, it's 164,000. Well, I'm looking at, you said it's, what did you say for the number that it would be?
200,000.
200,000,
Yeah.
That's different numbers than what Aaron has here.
3.2 and yeah. So basically, if you do the exact math, it's probably like an additional 180,000
I
more.
was trying to figure out what our mill rate would be.
I said I did all that for you guys. On that sheet I emailed there.
Right, I mean, she has 164,000 going up, and Hartford's having 144,000 going down.
So we want to stay at 50/50.
I will not go through 50/50, so if that's what the committee feels, feel free. I mean, we already have voted for the 50 before. So if we vote to reconsider, we're gonna need 2/3 of a vote to change it from 50/50 to anything else. Per Robert's rules of what a vote to reconsider is.
I know that if you look at the 50-50 based upon the pupil count, Hartford is still suffering.
So which one favors the majority?
Based upon pupil only, would be the 25-75, but that would add an additional overall burden to Buckfield, which would increase the mill rate, which would mean everybody in Buckfield would pay even more in property taxes.
Right.
Because the other thing too is, I don't know, and let's talk about what's fair, right?
Right.
So I don't know if you can honestly compare dividing those numbers by the pupil count, just based upon the pupil, the kids that are in each town, over dividing it by the number of properties that pay property taxes in those towns.
We don't have to.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know that you can get those numbers up, even with math. I believe that
It could.
Diane gets them through, actually has to like go through Paul Burnett at O'Donnell's.
Uh-huh.
To put into the formula to actually get it. I don't know if that's how can.
I mean, I'm actually surprised that the towns don't have the total number of properties in each town. I mean, you would think that they would have a property count.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Just, obviously, we're not gonna be able to get it tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
Not tonight.
What's Hartford?
I mean, I don't-
What's Hartford paying right now
For what?
Mill rate?
for the total of the school?
For RSU 10?
Yeah.
Let's go look at that budget from RSU 10. That's what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
It looks like Hartford, based upon RSU 10's 26-27, you want just the additional local or both required and local? Because I think we should calculate required too, because again, that comes from the taxpayer, right?
Right.
So Hartford combined for required plus additional local based upon RSU 10 is 1.8 million. I'll do the whole thing. $1,872,389.31. Sumner is at $1,159,507.05. Buckfield is at $2,156,764.07. That's based upon RSU 10's budget.
All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear Buckfield's. Would you give me that again?
$2,156,764.
Okay. I did get that one. Who did I miss? I guess I missed Hartford.
Hartford was $1,872,389
872, right? 389.
31 cents.
31, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I feel like my only issue with dividing it by people count is you're still only getting like half of it, like one side of it, whereas the other numbers I calculated is everything.
Right.
Which is kind of what Leah and I spent an hour doing.
Right.
And that is the complete picture of where you're getting per pupil.
I just feel like dividing those numbers by people is not still giving us all of it.
Right.
Which is why I did the math the way I did the math, to see, okay, if we're allowed, this is exactly what every town's gonna be, allowed, period. But if we decide to change the weight, then this is where it's gonna fall. Because if we keep the weight right now, everybody's sees an increase no matter what. But if we start changing the weight, it's going to start impacting differently. Some towns will see double the increase, some will.
Bob, are you working on the percent difference based upon?
I didn't work it out, no, but that's what
That's what you're
I was
thinking
just
of?
looking at.
I was just thinking of that too.
Looking at it roughly.
All right, so I have to total that total up. So that is.
I looked at O'Donnell's tax maps for Hartford and Sumner, and there's 1,274 entries for Hartford, which means could be one person owns 2 properties or whatever. And Sumner has 1,003.
I'm sorry, can you repeat those numbers?
1274.
1274 for Hartford, 1003 for Sumner. Feels like
1481.
1481.
I can.
So the 1224 was Hartford?
Entries of tax maps.
And Sumner and Buckfield. All right, so let's just do those right next to these numbers. But let me put a category in here so we understand what the difference is. This is people, and this is, let's just call it properties.
Was that properties or entries of tax? Cameron.
That's how many tax bills we generate for.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't know, like, if somebody owns 5 parcels, it doesn't matter. There's 40.
Still get
Right, but it's still going to give an accurate.
If we use the same.
Right. So what we're going to do is we'll do equal sum of this divided by, that's Buckfield is 1481. That.
Why, but like that.
Yeah, that's right. Equal sum of that divided by, this is Hartford, 1274. That. And this is equal to that divided by 1003. Have it.
Wow.
So that's those numbers for the 75, 25.
Yep.
So what we got for the property section for Buckfield, and this is for 75, 25.
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Buckfield is $1,309.24. Hartford is $1,256.02. And Sumner is $1,008.18. Now I'll do the math for the other one that we're thinking of.
2575.
Yeah, I can click on the next sheet.
We should do 50/50 too.
You're saying that per
This one?
property?
Yeah, click on the tab
Yes.
down here.
Additional. I mean, you know.
Increase.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Well, not the increase. That is going to be the required plus the additional local based upon our budget. Right. Per property.
Per tax bill.
Mm-hmm.
Per right.
For taxable
Does
property.
that make sense? Yeah. And we're just trying here. I'm getting lost in my head.
That's
too.
My question is, what does this look like for the mill rate for?
Right.
Because I already calculated mine.
I know, Sumner did too.
We just don't have Hartford's.
Yeah.
So Hartford's the only one you're missing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to walk in my truck. What was the 50/50? What was the per pupil cost for each town at 50/50?
Wow, that's,
Hartford was 10,923. Sumner was 9,723. And Buckfield was 8,375 and 75.
for 50/50?
Difference.
I have different
So
numbers.
yours at 75.
That was.
Oh, sorry.
2570.
I'm sorry.
2525.
I'm sorry.
All right, I got the numbers for the 25, 75 if you want them.
Yep.
All right, wait,
Wow, why is one of them so big?
okay, I'm ready.
It's your visual spatial thing going on, honey.
All right, so for
Past your
Buckfield,
bedtime.
and this is for the 25, 75.
I know.
For Buckfield, it's $1,420.18. Hartford is $1,142.31. And Sumner is $988.79.
What was that?
For Sumner,
No, what was?
2575.
2575.
2575.
And then this is the amount of change?
That's per tax.
Per tax, yeah, entries, whatever you want to call it, right. And I'm sure that, again, this is assuming that all values are the same. This is, right, so this just breaks it down based upon total number of entries in that town,
It's not a good representation though. I've got
No.
schools that are worth.
No, it's not.
Half, and I get some that are worth 300,000. So, like I said, this is just a number that's gonna confuse people.
Right. So is it the pupil?
No, but when you figure that out by mill rate, people look at this by thousands.
Right.
$1,000 evaluation. What I'm saying is, the reason I asked about the 75.5, I want to know it's hard to look on a little screen, that's why I'm here. What was the 75.25, the current existing formula at the new budget? How much per town was it for that 75.5?
Per student?
No, per
Yes,
town.
I want to know how much per student it would be for Buckfield, Hartford, and Summer.
Yeah, so Buckfield, it is $8,375.76.
That's just for the additional local.
No, I want to know the full cost.
Yeah, we don't
You
have
didn't do the
that.
full cost?
We don't
Yeah,
have
no, it was $8,400 roughly.
that. That is per
That's
Per student.
additional local.
No.
Making sense, because
Yes.
that's less than what we.
Right.
Right.
So you should take the number by, you should take the full number of what the taxable dollars would be and divide that by 2.
Okay.
Is that my number, right?
Yep.
That's the
So
number you need to look at.
let's do this then. This divided by, what is it, 2, 30,
I mean, I can't read the area that you get. Sit right over there.
equals
Move in.
sum of
Yeah, you are.
divided by 146.5.
Do that.
Harvard's still up there, if you look at it that way. Sum of this divided by 104. Yeah, so,
I mean,
yeah.
that's what you need to look at.
So you want me to do the same thing for 25, 75?
I need to get up to here.
We can share it with one after. He's gonna share it with us all after, right?
Yeah.
It is currently on the, actually, no, it's not, it's on mine. So yeah, I'll update it.
Move that paper. I'm good. I don't know where it is. Somewhere around here. Maybe hiding under lots of papers.
Harvard's still
No
suffering at
matter which way
25,
you guys skin this for,
it's gonna be equal. I'll just do the 50-50 just because we're here.
Don't know what, Cam.
You need to look at the mill rate. What's it going to do to the mill rate? That's what people want to know.
Right, because of the property value, right?
But we don't have our rates.
What was Summer's increase?
It's about.
Did we think it was like around 20?
3.5, no matter which way it's.
3.5?
Oh yeah, as far as mill rate.
So from 15 to 19.
Yeah.
Because we're 15 plus.
Yeah, 50 is 3.9.
146.5.
Yeah, so at 50/50, it's 3 point, it's not even 3.5 for us. 50/50, it's 3.34, 60/40, it's 3.36, 25/75, it's 3.27, and 75/25, it's 3.4.
You guys kind of like fluctuating right around the same no matter what.
It doesn't matter, honestly, you know, I don't want to say we're not involved in this decision, but really, it's not,
It's the same.
it does not change for us enough to make a difference either way, like, you know what I mean?
Does people want the new numbers of these? Okay. So we're gonna go back to 75-25, and this is based upon both required and additional for each town, divided by the town's pupil count. Everybody got that piece of it?
Which number are we going with?
75-25 right now.
Got it.
So Buckfield is $13,388.39.
383?
13,388.39. Hartford is $18,057.62. And Sumner is $15,858.40
That's per pupil cost.
for a total tax requirement.
So getting out of RSU 10 brings us down.
I was gonna say,
So
it was 21% for them,
It's either
or
21 or
21,000.
19, I forget, like our three
Yeah.
towns were.
Something's all right. Somebody calculated.
You want to do the 25-25 first?
This is up, so this is after.
So again, it was a Leah 1 hour thing, so maybe it was then,
All right, so the 2575,
all right. Yes.
Buckfield is $14,098.12.
Uh-huh.
Hartford is $17,068.74. And Sumner is $15,671.39. Now we'll go to 50/50.
Yeah, do we have 50/50?
Yeah. 50/50 is going to be, Buckfield is going to be $13,743.82. Hartford is $17,563.48. Sumner is $15,765.46.
Yeah.
I think 2575 hurts Buckfield, but if we say that 75, I'm sorry, 50/50, I think that's a better fit for all things considered. That's just
I don't
Yeah,
know.
because on the 50/50, Hartford is in the middle of 75/25 and 25/75,
right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Buckfield is 13.3 for the 50/50, 14 for that one, and 13.3.
13.7.
So again, we're going to be in the middle as well. Right. And then Sumner is at 15.7 on the 50.
You just don't even need to talk about
Okay, so.
It's negligible.
Yeah, once you add the required, which also makes sense too, because it's still tax dollars.
Right.
I make a motion, we say 50/50.
So no vote
Well,
to reconsider
We
that?
have to talk to Aaron still. Aaron, we need you.
He was just showing the figures for RSU and everything else, so, sorry.
Okay, so,
Why do we need these?
because we're going to vote on whether we're staying with 50/50 or changing it. And you said that 50/50 didn't work for you.
Yep.
But if you look here, 75/25, Buckfield is 13,383, 388, 39. 25/75, it's 14,098. 50/50, it's in between those two. 13.7.
Excel did.
And it's the same for all of us.
I did.
50/50, the numbers.
I made sure I selected the right cells.
Too.
The problem is once you get to the total, that's when it
Okay.
bumps up the
So a
mill
vote to
rate.
reconsider would need 2/3 majority to change it from what we're currently at 50/50. So if somebody wants to do a motion to reconsider, keep that in mind.
So we need 6 out of 9 of us. Huh?
Isaac was there earlier, but he didn't come back here.
Oh, Isaac.
Yay, so that's 10, yay.
So do we have a motion to reconsider?
I make a motion to reconsider.
Second.
I would just like to make a comment that even though I'm from Buckfield, and even though just from Buckfield's side, it would make sense to change it back to 75/25, because we need this to be a group effort, and because all 3 towns have to equally or as close to equally be a group and be together on this, based upon these numbers, I'm not going to vote to change it, even though that's going to hurt more Buckfield residents than it would the other 2 towns, including hurting myself. Cam?
Is the objective for this thing to potentially pass? Because if it is,
I know.
I'm gonna tell you 50-50. Not gonna pass Buckfield. I only know that because I work here every day. And I know the figures and what it's gonna do to our taxes, and Buckfield residents will not pass it. In a majority. It just won't happen. I'm pretty good with elections. I've only failed one warrant article in 4 years. I'm telling you, it will not pass. That's just my.
But how do you feel like it balances out if you're, because I mean, it doesn't really matter if the other two towns don't pass it anyway.
Yeah, and I don't agree with it.
So the way we're looking at it is we're getting really down into the weeds and looking at the per pupil costs and everything. And actually, I think Becky had said something about there's a lot of people that live in Hartford that don't, they're, what do you call it?
Seasonal
right?
camps.
Those are the people that don't actually vote in this stuff, but they probably pay the most in taxes because they're the ones that own the properties on the pond or the lake or whatever. They're the ones that are contributing most of this. We don't have that Buckfield.
Right.
We don't have the lake houses, the out-of-state residents that can pay those massive tax bills. I actually have people who live in their houses who are paying already $15,000 a year to live in this town, and now you're asking me to add another $3.90 to their $1 million assessment. They live here. They're not here. They're not seasonal. This isn't their second home. This is their home. And those people, which some of you have worked with, will not get on board with this because that is like increasing their tax bill by like 10 grand. Put that into perspective on somebody's home, not their second home, their home. And I'm sure this is the same with Rumford. And this is probably why RSU 10 is at 75-25, because Rumford was smart enough to know if we went 50-50, it never would work. I understand this town. I mean, I understand Sumner and Hartford are coming through too, but Hartford's already paying a higher share in RSU 10, only because they have less students, but it's not a good fit no matter which way they go. But I'm telling you, I don't see this passing. I struggle with it as it is. I don't see it passing at 50-50. I just don't. And I also want to remind Hartford that your assessments are behind Buckfield right now, and your assessments are about to go way up, and this chart could switch next year, and I mean, it could bite you too. So this is protecting you as well, because there's a lot of property sales that haven't been factored into Hartford that were factored into Buckfield 2 years ago, and that's why you caught up to our assessment, because yours hasn't gotten there yet. So I'm trying to look out for all three towns, but 50-50 could bite Hartford too in the long run. I just wanted to say that before I went home.
Did we vote on the motion to reconsider?
We did not, we had a discussion.
Motion and a second.
We had a motion and a second, yes.
I think it's the same. Hartford, if it goes 75-25, will our voters say, yeah, we'll pay 11,000 for each student, for Buckfield pay 8,000?
I think the hard part though is you guys have not done your mill rate to see how it impacts. And
This is not considering the mill rate. It's 25% mill rate. So we're considering more of the student.
Kristen, in your conversations, how much per student now are we paying for RSU 10?
Each town is different, but again, we were between 19 and 21.
1,000?
Per student, yeah.
20,000. We've had 30 ad hoc committee.
So no matter what we go with, we're going to be less anyway.
This did not factor in the subsidy part, where what Cam is saying, that when Leah and I factored it in, we included the subsidy part. What is it per student? What is it costing per student? A student in their seat, how much money is being paid for them?
Right.
with everything, yeah.
With everything.
Subsidy included. This is not account for that.
So we don't really know then, without knowing what that subsidy is.
So we just need a 2/3 vote to consider,
reconsider.
to reconsider.
So it would be, if the motion is a vote to reconsider, or, well, you gave the motion.
Well, you have to, what are you suggesting?
It would be the actual, what you're reconsidering.
Mhm.
Can you pull that one up, Neil?
Sorry. It's right there.
As I concluded in my email, this impacts all 3 towns as equally as you can do it.
You had brought that up last meeting, right?
What's
We were
that?
talking about how it was gonna impact.
This is the point you made.
What?
You made this point that it was gonna increase by what, 90-something thousand?
And I did push on to it until we left.
Right.
Did math, like 75-25 impacts all 3 towns
Right.
as equal as you're gonna get. If you start moving away from that, it's gonna be all over.
Right.
Which is what we have now?
Yep.
Right, and I can't calculate I can't do all this math that quickly to figure out how it impacts our mill rate. I know what our mill rate is, but I can't.
Yeah, no, that was,
But there's a huge formula to figure.
yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I don't think that's to do it on your calculator.
Nope.
No.
What's your mill right now?
13.7. Likely to change once we go through our reevaluation, obviously.
Right, well, the mill rate's gonna go down, your taxes are gonna go up.
Right. Yep. Right. Well, and it's already pretty low because we've been doing it in phases, so.
So are we ready to vote? It's after 9. We
Yeah.
have our consultant still online here. Can you reread the motion?
To reconsider cost sharing wage 75-25.
And we already had a second, so we just need to vote.
So all in favor?
Yeah.
So how many was that?
Well, actually,
Did Isaac vote?
He was here. I don't know.
I heard him say something. Isaac.
Oh, yeah. I did.
Oh, maybe he left.
Do we need Isaac on, Kristen, to change this, to get the quorum from Hartford?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
You are there. So did you vote in favor of reconsidering, Isaac?
Yes.
Thank you.
So it's unanimous? Did you vote? Oh, so we did not, so then the other vote, so you have to, all not in favor?
All not in favor.
Okay. Okay.
I think now we have a motion to do the 75.5.
Yeah.
Okay, correct.
I make a motion that the cost share wage be 75-25.
Second.
All in favor?
Did Isaac
Isaac?
vote?
Is that a yay or nay?
He's
There you
got his
go.
hand up. Okay.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
All not in favor or all opposed?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Now we got that done. Man.
Yes.
Anybody fall asleep up there? No? Okay.
So what else needs to be done so we can adjourn?
We need to vote on the reorganization plan.
We should do. We need to talk about the triple,
Yeah.
Yes.
and I need a 2 minute.
So let's move to the reorganization plan.
Okay. Because then Connie and Kristen can get off. the
Yeah,
line.
exactly.
Call it a night.
Kristen, you have the floor.
Document up. I don't think we need to go through this line by line at this point. Is there anything in particular that anyone wants to talk about from the reorganization plan?
Just that we changed it from 50/50 to 75/25 in the additional local allocation. So that will need to be noted.
It does. 5% based on valuation and 75% based on student count, correct?
No, the opposite.
Yeah.
Opposite.
Sorry. Okay. And I will share this because I have a couple of things. Can somebody authorize my sharing?
Are you talking, Kristen?
I'm not.
All right, good.
Okay, so let me just cruise through this real quick. So for the transition budget, I have 225,000 in there based on your prior conclusion. And then I went ahead and added this language here to allow, so like I said, in an interlocal agreement, if you were agreeing to let one of the towns, for instance, perform some of these services on behalf of the RSU, you might need town meeting authority to do that. If you put it in this plan, that there would be authorization for both the RSU board and the town's municipal officers to enter that kind of an agreement, then you wouldn't need to take it back to town meeting. So what I put in here is that the new RSU board and the municipal officers of one or more member municipalities may enter agreements for the member municipalities to perform payroll, administrative, or other services on behalf of the new RSU during the transition period. So if somebody has extra staff time, for instance, to devote to be an assistant to help field calls or do administrative tasks, great, use that person. If processing payroll through a town's payroll software or payroll provider is cheaper or easier, great, do that. But it would leave the board, the RSU board, the ability to identify those opportunities and then to enter a little agreement with the town to perform that service for them without need to go back to the voters. Is that something you think is advantageous?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Super. Then the cost sharing split is here in section 14, 75% based on valuation, 25% based on student count. And I did not change anything in the budget. I mean, in the, in the budget language and the explanation of, how this is going to quote unquote save money, but an estimate of the cost savings. This is the language that I read the last time around and have not changed. And it doesn't directly pertain to this agreement, but I think what we have identified through our recent conversation with DOE is that the transition team should really very early be looking for opportunities to join existing ESCs or if needed to create one. And I think it makes a lot of sense to first try to see if we can identify an ESC that could be joined. And hopefully even by the time of the vote, you'd be able to say, here is the ESC we're suggesting be joined, and here are the potential cost savings, and here's what that agreement might look like. And that could be in place really, and the cost savings from it identified a lot sooner. So any questions about the reorganization plan? Anything you want to see added, changed, clarified?
Nope.
Right. Is the group ready to take a vote to approve the reorganization plan and authorize its submission to DOE for review?
I move that we accept the reorganization plan as amended that we just talked about and give council permission to submit it to the DOE.
Second. All in favor?
Thank you. I will do that. This particular document, weirdly enough, does not need to be signed, but I will copy everyone when I send it out to DOE. Real quick, do I have everybody's names correct? Correct allocations to towns and correct spelling of names here?
I am EN.
Well, that's just wrong, Kristen.
It's the only way, Kristen, that we can keep ourselves squared away.
Separate.
Kristen.
All right. Anybody else? Anything else? By the way, I need Norma's email address if someone could send that to me so I can make sure she's included on everything.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
You jumping on that, Neil?
Yeah.
I thought you were.
Okay, then I think I'm good. I will submit this to DOE tomorrow. And who knows how long it will take to get that reviewed and any comments back to us, but we have a little time. We are about 3 weeks ahead of schedule of when the Dirigo towns submitted theirs, and they were fine.
That's good.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Excuse me, Norma, it's momof3main@gmail.com now.
Main mom of 3 at gmail.com.
Being written out?
I'm sending it to you right now.
Okay, perfect.
Mom of 3 at
Got it.
All the AI bots are getting your email address and sending you stuff right now from.
They are.
Okay. All right. Next up is the trifold mailer, I believe, unless we pass it. I don't think we skipped anything, right?
No, I don't think so.
So I would just ask you all to look this, the outside page is pretty basic. I need to do some formatting on it. But it's really the inside page. It's a little bit busy. Don't know if you want to see less information or anything removed.
I like it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. I know I saw an email, I can't remember who sent it out, something about how much it would cost to send this out.
Yeah, that was some, postage info, that's right.
I did that.
Yeah, what was it like? I can't remember now. I have to pull it up. Was that just for your town though, Deb?
Yes, it was just.
Yeah, so it's roughly.
It'll be similar.
Yeah.
So you went to the post office and that's what they said it was?
No, I talked to the town manager at our town who does every door direct mail.
Through the post office?
Through the
Yes.
post office. And you don't need a permit to do it. There's some direct mailings that you have to buy a permit through the post office, yeah.
Which is expensive every year.
Nick, you want to maybe put 3 additional municipal public forums to be scheduled prior to the vote or something like that?
Yeah.
Instead of join us to learn more, or, maybe you could do that too, but.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So that they
3
know
additional.
there's more opportunities than just August 18th.
Yeah, for some reason this thing I put the postage on this one too, so I gotta take that off so that whole bottom section also can be cleaned.
Oh, okay, yeah, we were wondering about that.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you could say something somewhere about, at these public forums, more specific numbers will be available.
Yeah. That way you don't have to put it on this specifically.
And obviously we just spent 45 minutes, an hour debating one aspect of determining what our numbers are, so.
No one can argue with that is.
We have done our due diligence.
The only thing I guess I'll ask you to look at is on the bottom left of the inside. I don't know. I don't know if those last two pieces should be removed. I mean,
Actually, it's voters approved the withdrawal committee. They didn't
right,
approve
well,
ad hoc
yeah,
committee.
that was a typo, right, I needed to fix that, but like the section above it, I'm like, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think we should remove the section above it.
Thank you, I was gonna say.
Only because it's
I
like,
believe
It's
it's
a,
more.
it's a, right, exactly.
I also think that maybe you should add something about when we were reorganized, we should have received what they promised us, and we didn't.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of like so long in the past that?
No, no.
I don't think you can put it on this.
Judy
There's
says
no
no.
way to take all the things that are promised on that folder and put on this.
Right.
Well, and that's why I tried to. I mean, I could possibly stick something like that in the left-hand column where it says, "How did we get here?" I feel like I could inject something like that, but I'm not sure on the wording yet. And
Yeah, that's tricky.
Yes.
Can we put on like an email address if you have any questions you want answered?
Yeah.
That's a good
Email to this
idea.
address.
Yes. Yes.
That's a great idea.
Are you ready, Neil?
I'll just forward them all to you.
That's what I meant, obviously. All right.
So, want a motion to approve as amended?
sounds like that.
Is that a motion? Second?
Are we ready for that?
I think we are, as long as everybody is good with that. Okay. It's gonna be, I will just put an asterisk, it's going to be very, very, very similar to this, but might be slightly.
And could you
Could you
fix
fix the
Sumner,
Sumner?
please?
Can you make it a little bigger?
Could you make it the same font as the
I'm
rest?
afraid they might, the residents might. I'm okay with
We
it.
have a
Pull your
motion.
hair out later because you're fixing that. You know that I didn't care.
Sounds good.
That's what I said. I don't care, but
And then
residents.
they'll be ready for printing and sending.
So we're voting to, for the amendment of this, and then are we also gonna vote to go ahead and send it?
Yeah, because it's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah, we need to get it
I
out.
guess the question is how are we sending it? Are we just, because I don't know how to pay for that unless we just have the town clerks do it. I have no idea.
Yeah, I think that's probably
Yeah.
how we should do it, and then,
Send
So who's
Bill
putting
committee.
these together?
Well,
Phone.
I guess that's the question. The money is for the withdrawal process, so.
right,
Yeah.
No, it's for anything.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Informational packet.
And we need 995 of them to send out.
Well, and that's the other thing. Print. I don't know if everybody else has print, color
So-
printers.
The pricing that you quoted wasn't to print it, that was just to send it.
Just to send it.
Right, so we need like
Gotcha.
roughly 3,800 of these, probably something like that. Maybe
Should-
5,000 of these.
Buckfield do it and then all the costs are for printing it.
I'm sorry,
with
town manager
Buckfield?
left, I don't know.
Yeah.
Bob Selectman?
Mr.
I defer to
Selectman?
you, Bob.
So either way,
Yeah. then-
however it gets done, this needs to get printed and mailed. So we need to vote on
Right.
however we,
Right,
however it
exactly.
washes out the mail.
Right.
It really, you know.
Has to be done.
It has to be done.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not going to Kinko's and swiping my card, I guess. I was trying to vet out, like, how am I getting you guys all these things?
So what was my motion?
Approve as amended.
Approve as amended.
And
Approve to distribute. What was it? Print and distribute.
what he said.
Second.
All in favor?
I move we adjourn.
Not yet.
Well, not yet.
Can we move the August 18th meeting format discussion to the next meeting?
Yeah, Chad, well, I think part of that Kristen helped us answer anyways
Okay,
earlier, because I just wanted some guidance from Chad, but he's not here anyway, so
okay.
Kristen really helped clear that up, that we do have freedom to speak and present, and that's great. The only thing I would just say very quickly is, like, be thinking about who's gonna speak. Well, not me alone. But I'm thinking that
We'll be there for moral support.
we just need to go through the presentation one more time and vet that out later. but that's all.
We can put it for the next meeting.
Okay, I did not schedule the next meeting. I wasn't sure what we wanted to do.
Next week,
Mm-hmm.
whether we like it or not.
What's the date?
August 6th?
Yep.
August 6th.
Ooh.
You don't have to be at every meeting.
Right.
I'll be here.
Okay, I might be, but I have,
I feel like at this point, we just need to ride this out for the next several weeks and stay on track.
yep.
Okay.
Deb made a motion to adjourn.
Well, we need to talk about our agenda real quick for next meeting, right?
I'd like to say something.
Judy, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm concerned that you don't want to exhibit any bias. I heard that word used. We want to be very clear why we're trying to withdraw. And I think that flyer that we got in the beginning tells us we did not gain the educational benefits at all that we were promised. We did not gain the cost reductions, if you'll look in the flyer, and we did not receive the threatened penalties. That is why it's not just cost. It's all of those things. That's why we're trying to withdraw. And we have not really been able to have our voices heard. We have the 6th grade going over. We have pre-K coming in, although it does not have to be this year. We haven't got the septic systems fixed over at the elementary school. They've taken their sweet time on it. There are good reasons for withdrawal, and I think we have to make those evident. Thank you.
I will review the document you provided to us, and we just discussed adding, cleaning up one section of our document so we can have space for that. So
Good.
appreciate your
Thank
feedback.
you.
Thank you. All right, so agenda items for next meeting.
The August 18th?
No, the August, well, yes,
August
sorry,
6th.
yes.
Oh,
No, the 18th meeting
Going over
for the,
review the
yeah.
preparation.
Probably review the presentation if I have any time to deal with that.
Uh-huh.
And we can discuss the rest between now and then.
Beginning the timeline.
What's the timeline?
The timeline for digital content.
Yeah, well, we wanted to talk about that. It would have been nice if we could scheme that up, but it's more or less just so we can, we don't have to do that today. We wanted to talk about after August 18th, if we could get a rough schedule put together so we can actually start promoting those, you know, and
As many people there as we can.
Yes.
Right.
So you selectmen really have to kind of come to the next meeting prepared for when you think a good public forum date would be for each individual towns, right?
that would be great, Aaron. Thank you. Anything else, anybody?
I move we adjourn.
Second. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Everyone, have a good night.
We just keep getting later and later.